In this video of part 2 of deployment, we will extend our discussion from the part 1 of deployment. So agenda of this session is about to discuss about deployment files, jar, var, and ER, and explorer directory deployment staging modes, deployment file structure, important deployment descriptors files, and creating deployment files along with deployment plan. So in part 1, we have covered some basics of deployment, what exactly is deployment, okay, and what kind of files, or you can say what kind of archive files we have to create for the deployment. And in this video, we will extend our discussion along with understanding of explorer directory, okay, we use for the deployment. Okay, and for deployment, you have three options. One is the automatic, or which also called the auto deployment, and console based and command based. So automatic or auto deployment is only applicable for the development mode. Okay, when you will create your domain in development mode, there you will see a directory auto deploy in your domain directory. Okay, so because in development, most of the time we do a lot of changes in the code. Okay, and every time it is not feasible to go on the console and then delete the existing file and then again do the deployment. Okay, so best option, you can just copy your code file in auto deploy folder and then it will be get automatically deployed. But this will be available only when your domain is in development mode. Okay, and apart from that, you can use the admin console for the deployment, and then you can use command line utilities as well, like WST for deployment of your code. Now, deployment files. Okay, you know that we have a lot of different kind of files for deployment. It's not about jar, var, and ER. Few more files are there, but most importantly, and most important, you can say most important files where we do the deployment most of the times is jar, var, and ER files. So jar file, that is come with a .jar extension. Okay, that is a generic libraries files. Okay, you can also say it as a libraries of Java classes. So libraries is a kind of a file that is get utilized among the multiple applications. Okay, for example, you have a multiple applications, but some code of the applications has same functionality. That means you need to use same kind of functionality among multiple applications. So instead of just zipping that same code every time in every file, okay, and then to deploy, it is good idea to deploy your common code as a jar file, or you can say as a library file, and then you can call that library inside all of your different EAR, var, or file, wherever you want to call. Okay, so this is called a jar file that is come with a .jar extension. So this is jar is just a Java code, right? We do write the code and save the file with .java extension, and when we compile the file after compilation, that convert into .class file, right? So this is the same thing. Var file is a web application file. Okay, so if you have a web application, okay, and then in that case you have to create a var file. So var file, it contains your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, JSP servlet, XML files, and maybe images and a lot of other content specific to your web application. Okay, so if you are creating or developing a web application, then you have to zip the content in .var file format. And ER is an enterprise application. Okay, so apart from your jar file, which I said as a library file, and then you have a var file for application. Okay, but apart from that, maybe you have a other code as well in your application, like EJBs, enterprise Java beans. Okay, and that is execute at your server level. Okay, so in that case, you have a jar files, okay, libraries. In that, maybe you have a var application, var files, or you can say about a web application. Apart from that, you have a EJBs as well, right, for execution of your business logics. So that means you have an enterprise application. So you have to combine all of your enterprise code in a single file that is called an EAR file. So you can say EAR is a combination of jar, var, and your enterprise application code. Okay, so that means whenever we create the EAR file, we packed our var and jar file inside your EAR file along with some other advanced code. So now one option is that exploded directory deployment. Okay, so one option that we have seen is that we have to zip the file, or we have to create an archive file like in .jar, var, or ER extension, and then we can deploy the application, right? But apart from that, one more option is there that is called an exploded directory deployment. That means in that case, you don't need to create any archive file. That means you don't need to create jar file, you don't need to create var file, you don't need to create EAR file. Okay, so in first session we have discussed about bit on the directory structure, okay, of jar, var, and ER. Okay, and we will see in the next slide as well what exactly is the directory structure of your jar or EAR file. But in a nutshell, you can say that whenever we go for to create an archive file, so that archive file is a zip kind of a file, okay, in Java format, which contain all of your code. That means all the directory structure that you have created for your code, and you have placed a lot of your files inside all those directories, and then at last you zip or create the archive file. But when we are going for Explorer directory deployment, then you don't need to deploy zip that file. You don't need to create any archive file. You just go and deploy your code in open directory format, right? For example, there's an application with name shopping cart, and then inside shopping cart you have multiple folders, and then inside multiple folders you have applications, okay? And if we are creating a var file, then you have to zip the parent folder, which is a shopping cart. But when we are going for the Explorer directory deployment, then you don't need to create any zip file. You just go for the deployment, and after deployment, you have to select the jar file, or var file or EAR file. So instead of selecting that any particular file, you just select the parent directory, okay, from your file system, and then do the deployment, right? There are a lot of benefits of that as well, okay? One example is that maybe your web application contain a lot of static files, okay, and then that static contents are going to be changed, okay, very frequently. So it's not you can say it's not easy, or you can say it's not feasible to every time your static contents are going to be changed, and then again you are going for the redeployment of file multiple times in a day, right? So instead of that, you can deploy your file in Explorer format, okay, which is, you can say it is a open directory structure format, okay. And so in that case, you just copy paste your static files in your directory, okay, and then it will get reflected. Your web container will automatically pick up that file. You don't need to go for the deployment every time. Now, deployment staging modes, okay, we have covered few contents in the session 1 as well, okay. We have 3 kind of a mode. The one is the stage mode deployment. What happened in stage mode deployment is that whenever you deploy your application in stage mode, okay, your admin server copies the deployment file from their original location, okay, to the staging directory of each and every managed server which is running on maybe on the same machine or maybe on a different machines, okay. So the staging directory is named stage by default, and it resides under target server's root directory. The target server can deploy using their local copy of the deployment files, right? For example, if I'm saying that I'm going to deploy a file, and then I have deploying that file, and from the admin console, then I have 2 servers in the cluster, okay. Then when you deploy in stage mode, then your file first get copied in the root directory of that particular server. That means inside your domain, you will have a server folder. Inside servers, you will have a folder with the name of your managed server, and inside that directory of the name of managed server, you will see a folder is created with the name of stage, and then your deployment file will be copied inside your stage folder, okay, and then from it will get deployed, and that is called a staging mode of deployment, okay. And whenever we go for a deployment, okay, that means inside the stage folder, it will create a folder with the name of application, and inside that it will copy or stage your file, okay. As you can see in the screen, okay, I have application with name shopping cart.var, okay, and then during the deployment, it created a folder with name shopping cart inside the stage folder, which is inside the root directory of your server, and then from there it copied that file inside the shopping cart folder, and then from there it deployed, okay. So stage mode deployment, the admin console uses stage mode deployment as the default mode when deploying. So when we deploy the application from the console, okay, then most of the time we go with the default options, okay. So default option, if you're going with the default options for the deployment, that means at that time it will go with the default options, and default deployment option, or you can say the default staging mode for the managed servers is stage, okay. If you are going with the default option, that means it will automatically take the stage option for the deployment, okay. And stage ensure that each server has a local copy of the deployment files on hand, even if a network outage make the admin server unreachable. So as I said, in stage mode, your file is copied to each and every managed server staging directory. So if your admin server is not reachable anytime, okay, it will not impact your application. There is no impact on the applications if your admin server is going to be down due to any reason, okay. And if you're deploying small or moderate size applications to multiple web server instances or clusters, then this is the best mode for the deployment. no stage mode deployment. Okay, so what happened in no stage mode is that the admin server does not copy the deployment files. Okay, as we see in the stage mode, your code or your archive file is copied inside the staging directory when we go for the deployment using the stage mode. But when we are using the no stage mode, that means deployment file will not get copied in the staging folder, and then it will not deploy from there because it does not get copied. So that means it will be deployed from the original location where you have placed that file, right? So that means instead of all servers deploy using the same physical copy of the deployment files from a shared or network mounted directory, which must be directly accessible by the admin server and target server. That means we have a code file that we have placed on a shared directory, and then the deployment will be happen from that shared directory, right? So the staging directory of target servers is ignored for no stage deployment. So by using admin console, you can deploy the application in no stage mode by selecting I will make the deployment accessible from the following locations. Okay, this is the option that you get when you go for the deployment from the admin console. Okay, and if you want to deploy the application in no stage mode, then make sure to select the last option, which is highlighted in the green boxes. And admin console use no stage mode as a default when deploying only to the admin server. So no stage mode is a default deployment option if you are deploying the application on admin server for any testing kind of a purpose. Okay, but if you are going with a managed server, okay, for the managed server, the default mode is stage. Okay, so when to use no stage mode deployment? So deploying applications to multiple targets or to a cluster where deployment files are available on a shared or network mounted directory. So you have a shared directory among all the servers, right? Wherever your managed servers are running, maybe in the horizontal cluster, then you can place your file in the shared or shared directory. Okay, then it will be deployed from there. Okay, so when you're deploying very large applications, right, that means large in size, consider no stage option to avoid the overhead of copying large file to multiple servers. So because in stage mode, your files are get copied to the staging directory of each and every managed server. Okay, but if you have a large file, that means your code file is very large. Okay, then to avoid any kind of a delay in the deployment, okay, then you have to copy the file in a shared location, and then you can deploy from the shared location. So external stage mode, okay, this is something like no stage mode, okay, but the difference is that your file will not be copied inside a stage folder. Okay, so that means in stage mode, your files are got copied from in a staging folder and then from there deployed. But in external stage mode, your admin server look for the deployment file inside the stage folder, but it will not copy there. So that means you have to manually copy the files in each and every stage servers, and then you have to do the deployment, right? So what does it mean? You have to create a folder with name stage inside the each server's root directory, right? And then inside that, you have to create a subdirectory with the name of your deployment application, and then you have to place that application inside that particular folder, and then you go for the deployment. If you remember what you have discussed in the stage mode, there's a directory with name stage is automatically created during the deployment, and inside that, your WebLogic create a folder with the name of application, and then it copy the application inside that folder when we go with the stage mode deployment. But in external stage mode, you have to create that stage folder manually, and then another folder inside that one with the name of application, and then you have to copy manually inside that. So this mode is not an practical. It is used somewhere, but very less frequently. Okay, it's not used frequently. So most of the time, the deployment mode which is used is stage mode. Okay. So when to use external stage mode deployment? When you do not have a shared file system, and if you are deploying very large application to multiple targets which are on different machines, right? That means you do not have a shared file system between your different machines. Okay, maybe in your horizontal cluster where you have many servers scattered around different machines, and you are going to deploy an application which is very large in size. Okay, so in that case, you can go for the external stage mode and deployment where you want to manually control the distribution of deployment files to target servers. Okay, so some cases are there where you want to control the deployment of file. Okay, where from where it will be get deployed, you want to control that location. Okay, then in that case, you have to go for the external stage mode of deployment. Let us see the directory structure and descriptor, important descriptor files of your different archive files that we use in WebLogic server. Okay, so this is a directory structure of EAR, var, and jar file. Okay, and let me explain that one. Okay, so this is the complete directory structure of your EAR file. Okay, that means whenever you are going to design your code, and then you want to deploy your code in the EAR format, okay, then you have to create this kind of a directory structure in your local system first before placing your code. That means EAR app directory. That means it is a root directory. Maybe if you have suppose that you have a shopping cart.ear file. Okay, then this will be a directory with the name of shopping cart. Inside that, you have to create 4 folders. One is meta-inf, second is app-inf, then var app, and then EJP jar app. Okay, that you have to create 4 folders. And for meta-inf, 2 important descriptor files are there. That is application.xml and weblogic-application.xml. These are the 2 important descriptor files for your EAR application. So that means most of the configurations for your application as well as for WebLogic are defined inside your application.xml and weblogic-application.xml. Now, apart from that, you have an app_inf folder. Inside that, you will have to create 2 folders with name lib and classes. Okay, and inside lib, you have to copy all of your jar files, and inside classes, you have to place all of your Java class files. And in var app, you have to create a folder with name web-inf. And inside that, you can create folder lib to copy all of your library files, classes to copy your all class files. And then for web app, you have 2 important descriptor files, which is named web.xml and weblogic.xml. These are the 2 important descriptor files for your web application. Okay. And then for EJP jar app, you have to create a folder with name meta-inf. And apart from that, you can place your classes files directly inside your EJP jar app folder. And then inside that, you will have 2 important descriptor files, which we call as weblogic-ejp-jar.xml. Okay, and then ejp-jar.xml. These are the mandatory deployment descriptor for an EJP jar application. Okay, so this is a complete directory structure of your ER application. Okay, and for example, you are not creating an ER application, you wanted to create only a web application. That means you have to create a var file only. That means in that case, you have to create a directory structure of like this one. You have to create a folder with name var app. Maybe you have a shopping cart or var application. So create a folder with name shopping cart. Inside that, create a folder with name web-inf. Inside that, you can place your web.xml and weblogic.xml file, and then create 2 folders with name lib classes. And then you can copy all of your lib jar files inside lib and all the classes inside your classes files. Similarly, if you wanted to create only a library file, that means you wanted to create only a jar file, then you have to go with this structure. Create a folder or with name like shopping cart. Okay, if you have suppose that you have a library with name shopping cart.jar, and inside that you can place all of your classes files, and then inside that create a folder with name meta-inf, and inside that you can place your descriptor files for all the configurations of your library file. Okay, and how to create a deployment file, that means how to create a jar, var, and ER files. Okay, it's very straightforward. In the previous slide, we have learned about directory structure of your jar, var, ER. Okay, once you have created all the directory structure and you have placed all of your code inside your different folders structures, okay, then you can simply use a jar utility which comes with Java, and then the command would be jar-cvf, then name of your var application, or maybe a ER application, or maybe a jar application like shopping cart.var, and then the folder, the parent folder. So here in the example, the parent folder name is shopping cart. That means you have a parent folder with name shopping cart, and your all of the var application code is inside this folder. Okay, so once you will run this command, it will create the shopping cart.var file. Okay, and the second command that you're seeing on the screen is if your path variable is not set for a Java path, okay, then you have to specify the complete path for jar. Okay, so this jar utility comes with the Java and it is inside your bin folder. Okay, then you can specify the complete path, and then you can create your jar, var, or EAR file. Another last one is about deployment plan. Okay, so what happens is that most of the time, whenever we have a code, okay, and then we may want to override some of the descriptors that we define in the application code. Okay, so that some use cases are like that. You have a same application and then you wanted to deploy that application in different environments. Okay, but maybe for all the environments, you will have certain parameters that you wanted to change. Okay, so instead of changing the code or your application every time for the different environments, you can use the same code or same archive file to deploy in your different environments. And all the different parameters that you wanted to change according to that particular environment, you can define in an deployment plan file, which is a kind of an XML file, which is an XML document. Okay, and this is an optional. Okay, because why it is optional? Because it is not a use case which is used always, that you are going to overwrite the descriptors that you defined in your application code. Okay, it has happened sometimes that when you deploy a same code in different environments, where you wanted to overwrite your some of the properties, okay, or some of the descriptors dynamically instead of changing it in code every time. So for that, you can create an XML document. You can define your descriptors that you wanted to override in that file. And then you can, when you deploy your application, along with the application, you can select the deployment plan as well. So this option you will get in the deployment screen once you will select your application. Okay, then you will see option to select the deployment plan as well. And you will see that it is marked as optional. So if you have a deployment plan file, you can select the deployment plan, and then you can deploy along with the applications. But it will does whatever the descriptors that you will define in the XML file or in the deployment plan file, so that parameters will be overwritten. Okay, that means it will overwritten the parameters that has been defined in your EAR, var, or jar file that you are going to be deploy. Right. So, for example, that maybe you have application with context shopping cart. So, what does it mean? Whenever you access the website on the browser, then you have to give the IP address or maybe the DNS name and then /shopping cart. Okay. And maybe for some other environment or for somewhere you wanted to change the context of your application, maybe from shopping cart to only shopping, right? So shopping cart context is defined inside your application, inside your web application, right, that you have deployed. And in another environment, you want the context only shopping. And instead of changing the code, you can just deploy the same file, and then you can create a deployment plan where you can define the new context like /shopping, and then you can deploy the deployment plan along with your same code file. Okay, it will overturn your shopping cart descriptor or the shopping cart context to only shopping cart. Okay, and another of the use cases, like suppose that you have written some hard coding in your application. Okay, where you have different kind of a parameters that you are using to connect to your database. Okay, so maybe you are going to deploy the same file in different environments where you are using the same code, but it has to connect to different databases, right? So for that, we can have a XML file you can where you can define your database parameters in your deployment plan, and then use the same code, and then your database parameters will get override accordingly for each and every environment. So thanks for watching this video, and if you think this is useful for you, then make sure to like this video, subscribe for the channel, and I will come up with few more videos soon. Thank you very much for watching this video.